It was the real confusing part about all of this.
Yeah, what is she up to?
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, and we are back to record back-to-back, though not released that way, the final 2 episodes of Stardust Memory. As always, though, we come back with notes and a board, so let's go ahead and hit up that board, where I have a board changelog, where I have marked Green Wyatt as dead. I connected Simone to Nina with a green line. I added the Axis captain and tied him to Gato with a green line. I added Nakato and tied him to Nina and Synapse with a white line, Ko and Lucette with red lines. I added Lucette Audivive and connected her to Ko, Nina, Synapse, Lucette with a green line. And then I added Kleena Haxwell, connecting her to Ko, Nina, Synapse, Nakato, and Lucette with a green line. And then I marked Lucette as dead. You've got confusion on your
Lucette
face.
And Ko with a red line?
No, I said green line.
Oh.
You only apparently tuned into the end of the Nakato, where I said I added Nakato and tied him to Nina and Synapse with white line, Ko and Lucette with red lines.
Well, that sounded like you were talking only about Ko and Lucette. That's
no, it's literally on the same line. Also, the element that you can confirm with your eyes as you're looking at the board.
Well, the board's still loading for me, so yeah.
We've reached the point now where I had to break my own organizational tree here when it comes to the board. That gets so many lines that instead of following the grid pattern, I had to put lines between the grid to get them to fit in.
Anyway, 2 notes. Episode 10, Colliding War Zones. I don't have a lot of notes, so they'll be short. Although these notes are pretty beefy, so bear with me. The arrogance of the Federation military leadership is so great, it doesn't merely spill into stupidity. It was like a giant tsunami of idiocy, yeah, sweeping everything before it. You commissioned and ordered the Gundam O2 with a bomb pump energy weapon. Didn't any of you, now vaporized morons, ever look at the stats of it and go like, yeah, let's not put the bulk of our forces with the explosive rating of this weapon we bought for our own use?
My problem with responding to this one is that I think this is like 3 different notes of mine. And I don't want to like read 3 notes in response to you. So, agree?
Just because I consider the Federation to be
your side,
I'll be on the side of the Federation, doesn't mean I'm not going to call them out when they're complete idiots or evil.
No. And I mean, obviously, I do the same thing for Zeon when I said, oddly, even though you agreed with Zeon's ploy, the evacuation of Earth. Remember, I disagreed and I said you should probably try to fortress up on Earth and came up with a whole risk strategy, hold up in Australia. But yeah, if I think something's stupid on my side, I'll say it's stupid. Obviously, I have to go to the chopping block every time because I'm defending the side that commits all the most of the war crimes. So, as double dealing as Wyatt seemed to be from our initial perspective, clearly he knew nothing in reality. His death makes that more than obvious, but also that his last words were, "Is this Stardust?" implying that he didn't know what Operation Stardust was.
Yeah. I mean, we never really know what the package he was going to deliver as a peace offering to Seema was, so it could have been bourbon, it could have been weapons, it could have been
right,
whatever,
just the idea that they were going to be trading this information just because, Seema is double dealing against Zeon up until Gato is successful, in which case she seems now entirely motivated. But Wyatt never got any real information, it seems. Because, again, his dying words were questioning, is this the thing? And it's like, no, actually, it's not, Wyatt. You fucking idiot.
Is this the thing? From the meme. Yeah. He was a moron, like the rest of them. Talking about Fedi more stupidity. Even after they get their bulk of their fleet destroyed, the Fedi commanders still think that they have the upper hand. Then again, your enemy can be as stupid as you like, and that won't be a problem if you don't exploit that. But if you do, as Sion did, well, you're fucked.
I have a future note about this, and I'm not delving into it just yet, but I will say the Federation isn't wrong. It still does have the upper hand. But they have the upper hand in the same form that they had the upper hand at the start of the 1 Year War, in that they have numerical superiority, which, as I said, even with 1/3 of our fleet, we still heavily outnumber Xi'an. But again, I have a whole note about that later, so I'm not really going to delve into that right
my
now.
counter to that is that, yes, technically they're right, but when something like this happens, you have to consider that the balance of power has been at least challenged, and you should adjust your
Well, remember,
thinking
they're super
accordingly.
conservative. That's what we got from the very beginning when they didn't want to send anything after Gato except for the one ship. Beyond Cowell, the Federation leadership is being super conservative. I mean, that's what Cowell says himself.
Yeah. I think it's a polite way of saying they're being super moronic, but that's just me.
All right. Well, for this one, I've got an image to send you, and hopefully future me will remember to include it. Bear with me now, as this kind of goes all over the place and will probably end up completely unsatisfactory. I wondered what the strongest weapon we've seen so far from the last 3 years of Universal Century have been. This nuclear bazooka is up there for sure, but I wonder if the Apsara's mega particle cannon would be considered on par with this. Taking a screenshot of the nuclear bazooka's largest blast radius, and then extrapolating for the bits off screen by taking the shot and forming a circle around the edge of the blast and then completing for the parts off screen, I made a blast radius. Then taking the only reference object of the shot, Solomon itself, I found a size reference for it saying that it is roughly 20 kilometers wide. The visible blast radius comes out to a little less than 6 Solomons, or under 120 kilometers. Given that the epicenter of the blast is just behind Solomon in the middle of the fleet formation, and thus due to distance between the object measured and the reference object itself, the blast is likely some amount larger than the measure given, so I'd say 120 kilometers and just call it a day. To compare that to the Apsaris mega particle cannon, I didn't really have time to go back and do a death battle style measurement, so I'm kind of winging it on this one. We saw the cannon blow a hole through a mountain before detonating on the ground later. I think that is a feat that shows that it has the penetration and strength to at least destroy a mountain. I can't remember at this point where we debated 8th MS team was set, so using this as an example, the largest mountain in Southeast Asia is Mount Kinabalu. I don't know if I'm saying that right. At 4 kilometers high and about 30 kilometers wide, which would mean that the Apsaris' beam could, with the benefit of the doubt, destroy up to a 30-kilometer radius. That's 4 times smaller than the nuclear bazooka.
Also, again, we don't know how it would work in space because it doesn't. Well, it does have explosionary radius, of course, because it did. It took out the big tray and everything else. But
I'm just saying under ideal circumstances. Again, I'm just giving the Apsaris the benefit of the doubt. We saw it destroy a mountain, and I'm saying that even if we scaled it up to the largest mountain in the area that it was operating in, that's still only 30 kilometers versus the 120 kilometers that we can visually see on screen happening.
I think the benefit of the Osiris is that it has the ability to fire multiple times.
Technically, so with the nuclear bazooka, in that it just would
doesn't
reload.
Have a lot of ammo. We don't know how many ammo shells it can pack.
Clearly, it takes 2 nuclear warheads to power one shot. Because we know that 2 got stolen, the thing throws the nuclear bazooka away, implying that it's no longer useful. So that is the effect of 2 nuclear weapons, I'm saying. It can be reloaded if you have the nuclear warheads to do so. The Apsaris has to fire, then power back up again. So it too has a reload time. But we're not talking about how many uses you get out of it. I'm just talking about pure destructive power. If the Apsaris fires on Unit 2, Unit 2 is gone. Unit 2 fires at Apsaris, Apsaris is gone. So literally glass cannons, sort of.
At that scale, yeah. Now talking about the Scions. And of course, the Scion plan is to do another colony drop because butchering millions of people last time worked so well for them.
Kind of did. It puts the Federation on the back foot for so long that it allows Zeon to do its drops across the planet, which then continues to push Federation on the back foot for several months. And then they finally get the muster to push back. So it really did work out well for them. And apparently, people haven't been holding a grudge all this time, so...
Apparently.
Literally, we're like helping them. We're about to give them 2 new colonies, as per my indignation last episode about, proving exactly right. Let's give the Zeons 2 new colonies, and what do they do with them?
Well, now apparently they were going to be into the Republic of Sion.
Yeah, I'm being
Forces.
hyperbolic, but you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just saying, colony drops did work out for Zeon. I mean, they didn't win the war, so ultimately, take from that what you will. But in a military cost analysis, it aided them for the majority of the year. Really, this is all a monster of the Federation's own creation. If the Federation had observed the treaty, they wouldn't have made a Gundam designed to fire nukes. That it got used against them was just irony, considering that a weapon is designed to be used and eventually they would have used it on someone. I mean, ultimately, you could argue that Zeon itself is somewhat their own creation as well. Had they not oppressed the space noise as much as they did, the need for Zeon independence wouldn't have gained so much ground.
Yeah.
So all of this is the Federation's fault.
Partially, because Zeon is also responsible for their own actions as well, ultimately.
Right, but I'm saying that the creation of Zeon is the Federation's fault. So Zeon can be responsible for its own actions, but at the same time, it's like mother-child thing.
Yeah, I get it. I'm not going to, egg, the chicken and the egg, basically. Oh no, the 2 Gundams are gone. Whatever shall we do? Ah, yes, late show upgrade for the protagonist and, spoilers, eventual antagonist.
I know we've discussed this before, and I said as an example, I did not like Gundam Seed doing it, where they constantly just replace destroyed Gundams with new Gundams that we just had been building in the background. I don't like that. Yeah. This one I can stand because it's like they have an entire design program, so it doesn't not make sense. There would be a Unit 3, it could be a Unit 4 for all we know. But it's not so much out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So, 1/3 of the Federation fleet still severely outnumbers what they think that Zeon has. In the same scene, we also get shown that the Federation command is still as prideful as ever. Seems to me that I recall that Zeon was outnumbered at the start of the 1-year war and managed to turn it all around till they were on enough of an even footing to prolong the war for several months before the Federation could start pushing back. A lesson that seems to have been forgotten in the last 3 years.
Yeah, victory myopia, like basically, we won, so whatever we did worked out at the end, so why not? Why not really reconsider? So like, hey, yes, we won, in spite of the fact that millions are dead, we nearly lost, we had Earth, 2/3 of Earth land surface was conquered, and we only managed to defeat the enemy to essentially a draw to force them to just become a republic and there's still forces out there still challenging us. They should,
well, they're neutral. Like, the forces out there are still neutral. The Axis is considered to be a neutral thing. I have to think I know about it later, but that's what they refer to. I would also interject that it might be an element of the people who experienced this back in the 1-year war that would have first-hand knowledge. And I mean, obviously, these people would have been alive, but I mean, the big man history, the people that we experienced died.
They're dead too, yeah.
Yeah, the Battle of Loom guy dies near the end of Mobile Suit Gundam itself. Rebel is dead. Like, the people who actually would have been like, no, I've experienced, they've turned this around before. This is exactly the sort of thing that they're good at.
Yeah.
Not here anymore.
No. Especially Rebel, who was the one who was like,
well, actually,
don't give him an inch.
No, I was actually thinking, what's his... God. The guy whose
the
name
fleet,
sounds like the China thing.
Yeah. Sounds like the Tenement.
Yeah, whatever. We both know.
Yeah,
he dies near the end of Mobile Suit Gundam, and he was the one who had to make the calls around Rebel's fleet and who was going to go where and save them. He's the one who had the opportunity to end the war right there at the beginning. but chose not to let everything get destroyed. We're going to save these people instead of just plowing on to Munzo and taking them out right at the beginning.
Okay, my next note, my final note for this episode. And if you didn't know how truly evil Seema was, the laugh at the end really showed who she really was. Because you could interpret this being like, oh, she's so surprised about this is working and finally we have a chance. But it just came off as very evil laugh, like she's sitting back and going the whole thing. I'm like, yeah.
I don't know that it's evil. It's just like, I know I was thinking while this is happening, I don't know any situation where I would just like keep laughing like that. It was like, maybe if I'm like at a comedy show, but you'd have to keep giving more joke for me to keep laughing like that. There's nothing that I would find so entertaining that left to my own devices, I will just cackle all day about.
Yeah.
So I think it might just be performative.
Or who she's trying to convince with a
I don't think it's a
cackle
convincing
like that.
thing. It's just like, I have a certain persona. Look, man, I put like a dead animal across my command deck. My guy's walking around here full open shirt. I think we all know what we're about.
Ripped sleeves too, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, it might be performative.
Yeah.
It's either that or it's like, I've kind of put out this persona that we're just really enjoying our lives right now, and man, I don't know what to do with myself anymore. I'm all the performance.
The second in command is like, every day the sun is out and the guns come out. Yeah.
I'm surprised that Gato and Ku weren't armed when they were bailing out of their Gundams. Thinking back to 8th Emma's team, Shira was armed. So was Aina, for that matter. A weapon has been standard issue for most pilots during the 1-year war anyways, to my recollection. Now face to face with our enemy, neither pilot has the means to end the other, I guess. I mean, not unless they want to play the super risky game of bashing helmets together to see who cracks first.
Yeah. Or swords.
Well, we only got... When did they get... Where did... they pulled them off the wall, didn't they?
Yeah, there was this room that had weapons. Apparently it was a training room, and they pulled,
well, I was thinking back to Char's super long gun for a bit, and I was like, that's a gun. Yeah. That's not a sword. Yeah. Where did they get those swords from?
That would be very awkward in that tiny cockpit as well. But it worked for Kaisile, because she also had one of those, so...
Didn't really work for her.
I mean, when she killed Garen.
So I keep thinking back to G-Quax. It's like, she poisoned him. It's like, oh, no, wait. Well, to be fair, no. Because that didn't really work for her. She was behind him. She had all the time in the world. Because she's just like, gun to the back of his head. Well, what do you think about that? Oh, really? Well, what was that thing? We talk about my dad? Blah, 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 blah. Bam! So it wasn't like... In G-Quax, I think she twists it up sideways. And that's the thing.
On to the next episode. La Viejos and Rose. Not a lot of notes here either, but also of them. Long. Talking about maniacal laughter. You morons at Fedi headquarters don't sound any better when you laugh like that. Or for that matter, show any concern for the civilians on the moon or the thousands lost at Kope/Solomon. Yes, I don't want another massive war crime, but at the same time, I wouldn't mind someone lining you up beside the Sikhs in the firing squad.
Yeah, I think that's just leading us into Federation,
bad,
not complacency,
complacency.
Or
complacency.
Sorry, there was a C word for idiocy that I can't remember. Or corruption. I have a note about it later, but not from the overall aspect, just like a conversational point they had between them. Yeah, I think that's just the fact that there's parts of this show that seems to be about, hey, here's someone you're going to meet in Zeta or something like that. But this is just maybe a setup for the Federation might be problematic when we get to Zeta.
I mean, the Federation was... Well, no, because if you were to start in 79 and you didn't know about Origins, you might think that the Federation has problems, but is not inherently problematic. But we know Origins, certainly problematic there. And
well, again, the difference there is something we've brought up a number of times, is that and this might be an element of my note, I don't remember. We've discussed before that we've never seen a civilian government for the Federation. It's always been the military, and this is like civilian government, and they are also problematic. Because the problem we get from the Federation in Origin is still military side.
Yeah.
It was a military ship that crashed. It was the military training facility that's like, we're training the space noids to be lesser enforcers of our will in space. It's all military. But this is like civilians saying, we don't really. The moon problem is a moon problem. I couldn't help but notice that in front of the super important conversation about Nina being depressed and Ko blaming himself, the box most clear on the screen has a giant orange label saying urine collection on it. If you look at the shot where she's talking
the balcony,
to what? No, not before the balcony. When I can't forget the name on the top of my head.
What?
Where Mora is talking to Ko about how Nina's not leaving her room, she doesn't seem like herself, etc. They're in like a little warehouse area full of boxes with like orange labels of things. And then when the camera comes back to Ko, there's just a box right beside him that says urine collection. It's like, is it my fault? Urine collection.
I mean, probably necessary inside a ship in space, so,
It's just so there on screen. It's like I can't help but looking at it.
Well, people got to piss.
Yeah, but usually, like, I assume there's some sort of collective, all of our toilets go here, or we eject it into space. Like,
well, I think it might be I think it might be a spare part or something like that for the system.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's just, I'm not going to not notice urine collection written on the screen.
Yeah. And as I said before, so this is a repeat. And here comes the Xeon Lake Show upgrade for Gato, which is a mobile armor.
Yeah, of some sort.
Yeah.
Seems to have the whatever shielding thing that we learned that Big Zom had, because it takes blast and just like goes around it. It also seems to be the Sun Crusher.
Yeah.
But then again, it's made from Axis, and I guess that just implies that Axis is some... I have a note about that. I'll go into my notes about Axis when I get there. To be fair to the Colony Corporation guys, that was probably the best argument they could have given to the Delos fleet to stop. Call out their space noid heritage and the need for colonies to survive. Didn't mention the Federation, didn't mention the war, just implored them as fellow space noids. Shame it didn't work.
So much for... I guess Giran's belief on space noids versus Earth noids was very selective.
Well, remember that Delos is just the ghost of Giran. But additionally, this has long since been Space Noid versus Earth Noid. Now it's Xeon versus everyone. Now, to be fair, they didn't nuke Side 6. But then again, Side 6 declared its neutrality from the very beginning. So they went from a with us, against us mentality to, do we really have the resources to waste anymore?
Yeah. Your note then?
That was my note.
Okay. While we're blaming people, and while we're at it, add the Anaheim executive board to the firing line after you clear the other bodies.
I think it's just the one guy. Still think it's the director.
They were like 4 or 5.
Some of the ones in the background were like, oh no, what the fuck? Because I think that's why he's grinning, but also doing like, under the mouth. Because she's spelling out to them how they can save themselves. And it seems to me the director already knew all of this, while at the same time the rest of them, some of them are smiling, some of them are very concerned. But I think the ones that are smiling, you could probably wipe that away with, well, this is how we save ourselves. We're not going to die. That sort of thing. It's very performative. She's like, this is the only way you could save yourselves. And they're doing it. But I feel like, again, the director knew that.
CYA, basically, in case it fails. Well, if it doesn't work, or this Federation survives yet again, and they come after us, like, we just did what we needed to do to survive. We're not going to just take a colony to the face. Would you do that? Of course not.
Doesn't save your ass anyway.
Yeah, but
legitimately, I mean, you could say this is what we had to do to save ourselves, and then you do the math. Okay, saving yourselves cost the death of billions. So, assuming it works, obviously, I don't think it will. But here's the thing: from the opening, where you see the colony going through the opening, and it seems to have this. I don't know if it's supposed to be smoke trail indicating that it's been shot at, or if that's atmosphere starting to come around it as it's getting in there. So,
yeah.
opening could be a big old spoiler. I don't know. I don't know if Nina is a complicated character or, well, I don't know what the or is. The only thing I can think of is a bad one, and she's not a bad character in either sense of the term. She spent so much time invested in the two Gundams that she became so emotionally attached to them that she risked her life and limb to oversee the stolen one's return, and nearly had a breakdown over one getting damaged. That they were used to cause harm to others either never crossed her mind, or she just pushed it away, which seems kind of dumb to think about as the person doing most of the design work. Then add to it that she seems to have some sort of personal connection to Gato, which, yeah, I know we find out later in the episode, but even though I had already thought that many times in previous notes, to have her want to go to Earth and bury her head in the sand seems ludicrous. I like her, but this seems like a real blot on her character.
Well, I see as someone who's lost control of everything, right? Who's like, she had a job, she was doing it, she was very proud of her job, and then everything went sideways, and she's been trying desperately to make things right, right? And now it's like, oh, by the way, spoilers. Well, those who watch the episode, yeah, my current boyfriend is gunning for my ex-boyfriend, and they're going to get either one of them is going to get killed or both of them are going to get killed. And either way, I'm still responsible for the thousands of lives lost. So, you know.
Well, the impetus of my comment is more about when she starts saying, I don't want to talk about the war or anything like that, and all this other stuff about the deaths that have incurred so far. You're the designer of the weapon. This is you, you know? This is like, you know, I have become death, destroyer of worlds. You, Nina, you. Without
maybe
this
you want to, like Oppenheimer, you want to go like, yeah, I did it, and now I want to run away from it. You know, well, he didn't, but.
Well, no, that's why he makes the statement, because he's embracing that I am responsible. But it's the element that's what I'm saying. It's the idea that it feels like they're pushing out there that Nina has not considered the fact that she made a weapon and then the weapon got used. And that's what I'm saying. That's like a blot on her character, because I can't wrap my head around it.
No, talk about Anaheim again. The only reason I can think of Anaheim went along with Delsa's, the last, I said Delsa, I don't know why. The last plan is that the Fedis failed exactly to cleanse Luna of Sion collaborators, especially at the top. Sadly, it fits very well. It fits well with well-known.
I read a bunch
of my
notes at like 2 a.m. Man, I'm completely down with trying to read my own typos.
It fits well with known historical patterns, because I have to assume that if Anaheim is cooperating now with the Dallas fleet, it's because when Sion was occupying Van Buren, no, not Van Buren, the city, I forgot the name, Van Braun. They too were at least cooperating with Sion passively. Otherwise, Sion would have just closed them down. Oh, you're making Gundams. That's for the enemy. Oh, we can't have that. But so they had to have cooperated in some way. Otherwise, they would have gone broke or been nationalized or something like that.
I mean, we already talked about this during the episodes where we were on the moon, where I kept bringing up the fact that the moon was occupied for so long that these people might consider themselves more Sion than anything else, except for the fact that we then get later on that they do consider themselves Lunarian. They are their own thing. The guy in charge of Solomon is literally the worst. Or Kanpei Island, if what you want to call it that. I'm calling it Solomon, obviously, because I represent Xion. So, what do they want with uninhabitable colonies? I wonder. I wonder what Xion could possibly want with uninhabited colonies. It's been 3 years. How do you forget the worst atrocity in human history in just 3 years? It's the fact that he asks.
Yeah.
What do they want with uninhabited colonies? I wonder. It's the same note, essentially, from 2 episodes back when I said they're giving colonies to Xion. Did we all forget?
They're being stupid
there
all
like
the way
a
down.
Denial thing going around, or we're all just like denying it ever happened? Like certain people from World War II?
Yeah. And my final note. So Lucette existed to push the plot forward and to die dramatically while informing us that yes, Gato and Nina dated before. That explains why she is so conflicted about Ku and Gato fighting each other, but it doesn't explain how or why she didn't recognize him when he stole the Unit 2.
Well, I mean, I brought that up in the wrap up of last episode. Because I was even stretching out for the fact that he had blonde hair in that one shot. Like, well, maybe he dyed his hair, and it's like, no, he back to being gray haired again. So I don't know. I guess maybe that's just the note about how good his disguise actually was. He's like Superman Clark Kenting it.
Yeah.
We've discussed before that the Federation seems to lack anything in the form of a civilian government. Well, here we are, we finally see one. And the military is just mocking them for inept leadership. Also, during that same conversation, it seems as though they consider Axis to be a neutral force unallied to the Zeon rebels. I wonder if they are just a third faction of Zeon at this point, a remnant that left the war and established themselves as a fifth power. Could explain where Char went, if true. Because remember, Char at the end of the movies, anyway, I think don't remember if it happens at the show.
Yeah, he just flies away.
Yeah, flies away with a whole fleet, and maybe they formed Axis.
Yeah. That clearly in the movie was a setup to see, okay, Char may appear again, right?
Well, remember, even in the movie, I had to bring up the fact that if you zoom in on the shot, there's a guy who seems to be wearing a helmet and a long thing coming off the side like Char's gun. There's two silhouettes there in the picture, and I think one of our comments pointed out that the other silhouette was also an important one. No idea who the hell it could be, though.
We shall find out, I guess, when we do. I don't say soon enough, because we don't know when that's going to happen.
Week.
Probably. So,
well, I mean, we won't find out next week. I just mean if there's somebody in Zeta, we'll find out in Zeta.
Yeah. Well,
unresolved issue as of yet. How does the Axis fleet being nearby cause Operation Stardust to basically already be complete? It's a line that's said. Delis is like, oh, they're letting the Axis fleet stay nearby. The Operation Stardust is basically already complete.
I guess they think that they're strong enough to take on anything the Federation throws at them if they're counting their strength and the Axis fleet together.
Well, it seems to me that we already know that Operation Stardust is a colony drop, so I don't know what the Axis fleet has to do with anything. Well, Unit 3 is the standard 18 meters tall. I know, obviously, that... Sorry. Also labeled RX-78GP035, according to Lucette's readout. I'm going to say, it's 18 meters tall in Lucette's readout. Obviously, that doesn't include the giant armor thing that's put around it. Sorry, I forgot the name of the thing in Gundam Seed Destiny.
Yeah.
The thing that they fire out from the ships to then put on the backs of the Gundams. It looks like a giant version of that.
The thing is, will it have enough fire? Well, in Seed, it would have enough firepower to do significant damage to a colony, but the colonies... actually, no, that we're this...
It shouldn't, but I also have a note that how it will, because for some reason fucking stuff has changed. Remember, I always go back to Origin. The entire Federation fleet bombarded Island Iffish for a week and couldn't stop it, didn't destroy it. They broke it up into not little bits, they damaged it enough that it did broke into 3 sections when it hit the atmosphere. But it was still pretty fucking solid. So, 3 years of weapons technology. I mean, maybe if they made their own nuclear bazooka.
Yeah.
Ko's entire Gundam career has almost entirely been predicated on him taking the Gundam without authorization.
Yeah.
He got Unit 1 by taking it without authorization to chase down Unit 2, and that helped him become the Gundam pilot from there on. And here, Unit 3, he's trying to take it without authorization.
I was always going to run a note about the whole, he doesn't have authorization this time around, because again, I probably have a note about it.
And his entire career is based on Grand Theft Auto.
Gundam jacking.
I mean, they made up the term colony jack on the spot, like it was a term they've always had. So it's like, maybe.
You would think that after such a big event, they would have a term for it, right?
Well, to be fair, it's only happened once, as far as we're aware. Like, maybe it happens in video games or in the manga or novels or something, but for us, an anime viewer, it's happened all of once. Can you imagine something only happening once and yet it becoming a term we all know?
Depending, it could
Literally,
be something
Watergate.
so.
I appreciate that you froze in mouth open mode. That's what you did.
Oh, it's all right.
I said Watergate, and you were in like this.
It was a horrible connection today.
But yeah, I mean, Watergate only happened once, and then everybody now is the gate thing. Yeah.
Well, most people don't realize that that's the reason why it's a Watergate, because that's a Watergate hotel. That's it.
Well, technically, if you think about it, the guy was taking the pictures from a different hotel of the Watergate Hotel. So,
yeah, which was the the headquarters for the Democratic National Convention at the time. It wasn't even the Democratic Convention itself.
But I mean, to be fair, we all understand what the word gate means. Even technically, Watergate Hotel itself was named after something.
Gate for water.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's Watergate Hotel because it's in Watergate. I don't know where the Watergate Hotel was. It Maryland or was that Washington? I would assume it's Washington.
Washington D.C. straddles Virginia and Maryland. So
I know I grew up in Maryland. I'm saying that's why I was thinking it would be.
I think
it
could have been
Pennsylvania for all I know. But
yeah, that's true. Yeah, it could. Yeah, I think it's on the Maryland side.
Because technically, you didn't say Pennsylvania, but it also straddles Pennsylvania, being in the middle of all three states. I guess the Federation's computer system is working against it too. When the project comes on screen, when the commander asks where the colony will go, there is a section under Fall in 38 Hour that isn't translated, so I translated. It says, but I won't reveal where it falls. But I won't reveal where it falls. It's a secret. Only I know. The computer is saying that.
that must be an inside joke for for viewers.
I mean, it's either that or the computer is actively alive and aware now,
and being a dick about it.
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know. It's the fact that the bunch of stuff on the screen is in English, and this one section is in Japanese. And I went to Google Translate, and it says, "But I won't reveal where it falls. It's a secret. Only I know." Like, okay, the computers are against us.
Yeah, even the computers are tired of the Federation shit. It's like, fuck you.
My final note. Welp, Nina and Gato were lovers. One of two guesses I'd already put out there. Remember, my first guess was that they're related, so it thankfully did not turn out to be a Luke Leia situation.
Yeah, well, I would not want to be a fly in the wall to see how those two go together. Oh yes, you're the occupier of my company and my country. Let's hook up. Like, huh? Okay.
Well, Anaheim, who was clearly, we already covered many times, perfectly able to sell out. Yeah. Also, you're just assuming. You're assuming what she was doing 3 years ago. She could have been at Zionic 3 years ago.
Could, but we don't have no evidence. So,
yeah, but I'm just saying that
and she doesn't seem to have.
One of the moon cities was allied to Xi'an at the very beginning.
Yeah.
So you don't know where she lived either. She could have been working at Anaheim and living under Xi'an.
He doesn't seem to have strong Xi'an sympathies, rather, at least anytime. So,
well, she didn't seem to have any. To my blot on her character note from before, that she doesn't seem to consider the actions or ramifications of her own hand in what's happening.
Yep.
You know, could be an element that this is a space noid, Earth noid war, and I'm a Lunarian.
I mean, to be fair, that's how an earlier, I think episode 2 is like, oh, get that Lunarian, and we don't care about Lunarians. That's one of the Federation officers says about her. It's like, oh, I don't care what that Lunarian says. It's like, okay, you fucking bigot.
I don't think that's bigotry.
It's not racism.
Jingoism? No, it's too general.
It's bigot. Yeah.
Well, the problem is I don't know the specific difference between racism and bigotry. I think those are synonymous in my mind. But I think the fact that
Racists
Lunarians
are bigots, but not all bigots are racist, but racists are bigots because racism is a form of bigotry.
Well, the thing is, it's obviously not jingoism because the moon's not a nation. I don't know. It's such the element of these are such fictional terms that I just don't know how to deal with them in my mind. I'm not of the world. Like the thing I say about like D&D campaigns, I'm not of the world, so I don't know the things my character would know growing up in such a world or think the way that my character would think. And in this case, we don't have a dedicated population living in space to call themselves Spacenoids, so also the element you wouldn't be able to tell a Spacenoid from this isn't like Expanse, right? Where a belter looks like a belter. Someone from Earth looks normal, I guess, to you and me. But also the element that Martians basically look like Earthlings, so... Or I'm just saying, like, a belter grows up in a low-G environment, so their bodies have, like, accommodations for that make them look weird to a normal Earthling, but also makes them unable to survive in a higher G environment. So when you think about a Spacenoid in a world where you would want to include space racism, that Spacenoids would look different to people that grow up in a gravity environment. In which case, that might be a thing, but Spacenoids and Earthnoids looking exactly the same, it's hard to be racist.
It might just be that Zeon accent that gives it away.
That has only appeared one time to us. Again, the fact that they're talking in Japanese,
twice,
the fact that they've referenced the Spacenoid accent. I'm sorry, the Zeon accent twice. We've only heard it once. But that's my thing, though, is that maybe it's all over the place in the Japanese and we just don't hear dialect. But then again, they're not transferring that over to the English dub. So as far as we know, that was just an inside joke between those two guys.
I guess those are your notes and my notes, and we have no comments. I think it's time to get into it.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Oh, I forgot to mention before my previous note that Lucette should have been somebody else.
Yeah.
The character from Anaheim that we had already spent time with. That way her death would have been a lot more impactful rather than a one-and-done character. Oh, taking over the project, yeah. And now for the second best opening of the show.
Yeah. I mean, the music has been solid all around.
Oh, yeah, but
I prefer
because we both like this kind of music.
Yeah.
I sat up in my chair and I forgot I got to hunch over to keep in camera. The unexplained half-foot growth that I've gotten between episodes.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like a foregone conclusion. But maybe not.
Well, we've not seen Zeta, obviously, so we don't know what Zeta starts off with. And then Zeon dropped another one.
It could be, yeah. But the problem is, well, I guess you have a lot of humanity on space, so humanity would survive, but...
Well, that's a previous argument that we've already had.
Yeah.
Where I keep talking about the element that they say, over the course of the one-year war, half or a number of humanity died. And you keep indicating that's everyone who died on Earth, and I say, no, that's the cost of all of the war. Everyone who died on Earth due to the colony drop, and everyone who died in space, everyone who got nuked by the Zeon, everyone who got gassed by Zeon, everyone who died in ships, everyone who died in mobile suits. Hell, they included starvation and everything. Who's to say the cost of the birth rate decline from all the children that died who didn't then grow up to have a succeeding generation? Well, because if you kill all the kids and all you're left with old people who aren't going to have kids themselves anymore, then there's going to be a decrease in the population.
Assault on the point of no return.
Well, as long as you assault it before you get there. Also, it didn't really make a lot of sense. The Axis fleet was so happy to see Earth. They should still be able to see it from the asteroid belt.
Yeah.
We got that pale blue dot picture from past Pluto.
Okay.
So that happened.
That would do.
地球へのコロニー落としを目指す星のくず作戦はまさにその佳境を迎えていた。左舷10時、敵へ1。
前？
まだ地球機動艦隊が届くはずがありません。
聞いてないぞ。
Well, they shouldn't be able to reach you at all. They're supposed to be running out of gas.
Yeah.
Which is also the only time this has ever happened in these shows.
すまん、我が艦隊は後方で見物させてもらうぞ。何の遠慮は無用だ。後のことは頼む。ん？アクシズの名誉にかけて。よくここまで来たものだ。かつてジオン艦艇の半数を要した作戦を。 わしは今これだけの艦隊でやっておるのだ。
Yeah, I guess the Delos fleet does this thing, and then maybe the Axis becomes on neutral.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That or this entire operation is to the benefit of Axis to give the Axis a head start against whatever they're going to do against the Federation later. Because I guess, remember, whatever happens here, Zeta is 2 years away.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, actually, it turns out it's the last starfighter.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. We see a lot of missiles.
Yeah, I'm saying that's a lot of wasted missiles. 4 hits.
I mean, they're supposed to be pretty maneuverable, so. Yeah, people in Jabba are now panicking. No, that don't seem like they're panicking, though.
Kowal.
試作ガンダム3号機が接触しました。また中立化したアクシズ艦隊は後方へ下がります。
一年戦争の教訓を生かした敵ながら見事なコロニー落としだ。いくらガンダム3号機とはいえ、わずか1機では。地球落着まで。
I don't know, you call it beautifully executed. Among colony drops, this is the second one. You've only got one to compare it to.
ここです。ここを突破されれば、コロニーほどの質量を止める術は。
その前にコロニーを奪取し、軌道をそらさねばならん。コロニーの推進剤はまだ残っているんでしょうか。必ずある。ジャブローへの最終調整のために。わしの第三機動艦隊は何をしておる。
Again, the element that it took a week of bombardment with the entire Federation fleet the first time, and they couldn't stop one. And a couple of ships from the Delos fleet cut parts of this one off in like a minute.
Yeah, they're just buying time. You gotta concentrate on what you gotta do. Here comes Gato.
Maybe we should invest in new tracking methods for our guns.
語るまい。
Probably save a lot of money if we stop making bullets.
ガトが
アイフィールドか。
Well, good. It seems like you both have one.
やつも
Also, Gato's mobile suit looks a lot like an EVA unit.
コロニーまで10万
Or an angel, rather, from Evangelion.
阻止限界点まで8時間22分です。モビルスーツの発進許可を。
まだだ。
22 minutes? That's 2 minutes less than the runtime of the episode has left.
果たして裏切
Just enough for commercials.
持つのか。
Sorry, I meant actually the end card.
Yeah. I mean, the original would have episodes.
まさか。
Yes, the original would have episodes. We've both fucked up now.
考えてみりゃ、俺たちはずっとジオンの亡霊に付き合わされてきたんだ。ガンダムに出会ってからな。
You know what we probably could do, since we're hard pressed to save every life on Earth? Just fire some of those nukes that we have at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like the one thing you're lacking is arms.
翔太、ビーム主体のその機体では邪魔をするな。
See, he's even calling out the weakness of your thing.
時間が
If only I had a gun last time we met.
ガンダム、こちらアルビオン。追いついた。補給に帰還せよ。一度帰還せよ。
Conversely, just go attack the Albion.
第一線を抜
They'll be forced to follow you, and you can probably take the Albion.
コロニーは奪取できんぞ。
了解。
His name tag was spelled differently. Synapse. I think that hurt me, the audience member, more than it did.
You know, I don't think these guys are going to survive, either one of them.
Well, that's the easiest way to handle a character that you've created in the 90s, not showing up at a show that you made in the 80s.
Yeah, it's to kill them off.
さて問題は正面に敵がいつ現れるかだ。
連邦の地球機動艦隊の大半はサラミスです。さほどのことは。
うん。
I mean, technically, your fleet's mostly made up of Musai, and the Salamises are technically better than the Musai.
予想外のことは起こるものだ。ガトーはよくやっている。
Can't wait for Seema and Deles to be related, and she shoots him in the back of the head. Entire Gearin thing all over again.
Yeah.
Nope, he's dead. Happens off screen.
Oh, did she kill them?
What do you think happened?
I don't know. I
It's
don't know
either
who-
that, or
somebody
they,
started shooting.
they went off to the side and started watching the end of Sopranos.
Yeah.
先発する。
提督、艦隊は追撃を再開します。たとえ敵に追いつけないにせよ、事後の処理はお任せください。は、今何とおっしゃいました？
Gotta keep juiced up. Don't want to don't want to fall asleep.
I mean, he's been fighting for what, 10, 20 hours straight since the beginning of the operation?
We haven't seen a clock in a while. see, 38
think he's good.
hours till it was supposed to hit. Was the last time we saw him out. Now it's at 22 hours, so 16 hours. But
Yeah, he's dead.
why do you care? You left Gato.
Well, he cares about Ku though.
Yeah, but she seems to like be worried about both of them. I'll lose both of my lovers. God, it was an... Sorry, I lost my button there. God, it was an ex.
No.
If you cared that much about him, why'd you leave him in the first place? You came after us, of course. That's what I just said. Attack the Albion. No, Mora. In fact, I don't want to fight at all. I have to.
Yeah.
A lesson that took Amuro half a season to figure out. Please kill Mancha. Yeah, because it's our fault. You nailed it, Nina. It's all our fault.
Yeah.
You, the
Yeah.
designer of the weapons of mass destruction. It's our fault.
Mhm. The hell?
Yeah, I'm confused with...
完璧な囲みは敵に視力を尽くさせますからな。貴様などには聞いておらん。
I guess Sima's sold out all the way.
お考えですか。いや、この状況を何に利用しようとしているんです。一刻も早く地球機動艦隊を全面に。じゃあ見とく、貴様。時間がないんです。おかしな企みなどされず攻撃を。
Also, who brought this fucking cat in here?
もう時間がないんだ。なぜガンダム3号機はアルビオンに渡ったのだ。
I can't tell
Does
if they're
he
on
want
their...
to-
can't tell if they're on the Xeon side or if they're trying to do some sort of move. If we attack them too hard, they'll push even harder. And our opportunity is somewhere in between.
しかしそれでは少佐のお体が。グラードル、それにあのガンダム、奴は私でなければ倒せまい。
But it very much seems like Sima did take control over there, and then she was communicating
Yeah.
with them, but I don't know if she was communicating an ultimatum or activate Operation 66, or, you know, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on with these guys.
敵が現れる前にガンダムを倒す。
Really, I want to go back to the command of the Delos fleet and see if Delos is dead or not. I assume till the point of no return.
Yeah. The thing is, I don't get why they want this to happen. You know, why do they want another colony drop?
I mean, at the end of the episode, it could be that they put nukes there, and they don't want the fleet fighting them because they want them to get to the nukes without any concern. Like, they could have a plan that Kowal isn't just not knowledgeable about.
Yeah, but you wouldn't.
And that's why
you just
Kowal's
tell
like,
them,
it's
"Hey,
not the
listen."
time for any weird plans.
Yeah.
シナプス艦長、私は自分の意志で最後まで見届けたいのです。申し訳ありません。
軍から給料は出ませんぞ。よーし、第一戦速5分、以降最大戦
To be fair, I don't know Anaheim's paying your salary either. You already left
Yeah.
Anaheim a little while back, and now we're just doing an operation for them. Also, Anaheim's on Xeon's side, maybe.
シーマの艦隊が先行しすぎている。いいか、抜かれるな。
It seemed was the real confusing part about all of this.
Yeah, what is she up to?
No, Della's still alive.
Yeah.
Okay, so Seema has set up a bunch of stuff. So maybe third faction of the factions?
Yeah.
Is it the solar system? Did they set up the solar system to blow the colony out of space?
Maybe.
Well, it seemed like it was in the solar system pattern.
Yeah.
It also seemed like it was made up of a bunch of small parts, which we know the solar system is also.
Well, they never retreated before. Don't expect them to retreat now.
Yeah, but you got eye shields, and they're only using beam weaponry.
Yeah.
The ultimate evolution of beam saber combat.
Yeah.
Oh no, not that guy.
Well, he was. So maybe this was all set up to destroy the Dallas fleet once and for all?
What, like Seema's working for Axis, and Axis is actually against? No, because Axis gave them the thing, so... Oh, I thought we were about to get a slap. Yeah, we already knew that, Mancha. Well, 7 minutes left in the episode. Well, good. Now we know what that thing was. Again, there's going to be a massive white beam that comes in. It's going to be the solar system. I do not think I'm wrong about this.
He failed.
To be fair, still could happen. And if they're planning to completely destroy it, then there's no point of no return. That they could just hit it at any time. Move out of the way.
デラーズフリートは戦闘を停止
No?
したと言っています。どういう意味だ。戦闘中止。バカな。
I am just lost. Too much shit is happening. That
It is a solar array.
has to be, right? Yeah, I called it. It's just like, if the plan is to completely obliterate the colony, then there is no point of no return. Oh, hey, it's
Yeah,
our
but if it
guy from
doesn't
Cheat
work-
Books. Very confusing name.
コロニー落としを防ぐ奥の手があったわけだな。ちょっと温めるだけで、ボン。
貴様、それでもジオンの将か。
Now I'm just wearing your
私は
clothes.
こうして生きてきたんだ。サイド3でぬくぬくとうずくまる者たちの顎で扱われ。私は夢あれば願えるのさ。
I guess that's a survivor attitude. Now, if I know Delaz, he's going to get himself killed trying to kill her.
アクシズなんて辺境に導かれた日にゃ、商売上がったり
Oh,
さ。
backwater, huh?
動くなよ、ガト。敗軍の将は潔くな。
Is Delaz going to order Gato to open fire? Killing them all? That's what I would do. Because he's willing to sacrifice everything to make this mission work.
Oh, he's gonna destroy the solar mirror.
No, they did what I said. See?
わしを空の晒し者にするのか、ガト。
バカ野郎、ソーラーシステムが狙ってるんだよ。冗談じゃないよ。
Can't meet a man with principles. Might be immoral, anti-human principles, but they're principles nonetheless. Yeah, you better get your ass off that bridge now because it's about to be space. Was she on bridge 1, 2, or 3? Or possibly the 4th dick bridge.
But we know it can really work. They always say they're already having problems with the solar mirror, right?
Well, we don't know the destructive force of the solar mirror versus how resilient the colony is. Again, the entire Federation fleet couldn't stop one in a week. We've seen the solar system fired against Solomon, and it didn't crack the surface.
No, it actually made a huge divot on it. It actually melted a
It
third of
didn't,
it.
because even the hangars facing that direction weren't damaged. Like, it destroyed everything but Solomon. So, I mean, I don't know. It might push it. That might be the thing. But, I don't know. Obviously, Simo turned out to be the pirate lady that we all thought she was. Just wearing the uniform of Zeon. But Delaz turned out to also be the guy that I kept saying that he was.
A fanatic.
Kill us both. We keep the mission going. Yeah, but I mean, here's the problem with the fanatic thing is obviously your Federation leaning, but also, you know, your argument is towards the morality of dropping a colony on the planet.
Yes.
Whereas I'm more the pragmatic side of how do we win the war as Zeon at this point. You know, it's that conversation we had during the Origin about, I don't want to bring it up again, but the thing that happened in real life and the arguments against and for in real life. I'm not taking the moral ground, because obviously that's a battle I will lose 10 times
You don't
out
think
of
what's
10.
going to happen? These guys going to be fighting, and they're going to get both caught up in the solar beam and get killed.
裏切りの空を覆い、陰謀は満ちて、新たな時代が顔を出す。ついにコロニーは地球を巡るの。
Is he bored the Albion?
そして
There.
その中での恩衆の再会。
It didn't work.
浦木が戦いの果てに見るものは、時は移ろい、0083の幕が閉じゆく。
Okay, I mean,
What is she doing? Talking to Gato?
that's what I'm saying. Where is Gato? She didn't leave the Albion, I assume. So, in the way of final episodes for a show, I mean, this is a pretty good one to get to. I hope Seema is not a character in Zeta. Like, she escapes all of this and then is a reoccurring villain or something. I don't falter for the I'm going to do what it takes to survive. You know, as per the, like Ironclaw, talking about Ironclaw, the tabletop game that we both played, where characters are supposed to have, like, a number of goals, and when you're in doubt, your NPC should also have goals. The number one goal of every NPC should be survive. I don't blame her for that. I have no real connection, I feel like, to Delaz, but he is a Xeon fanatic, right? And you would use that term as an insult, I feel like, but I would use the term as these are the final believers in Xeon independence. So I'm on their side. Granted, to a point, right? Apparently my line in the sand is not colony drops, because I'm still on their side. But this is a guy who put everything, the last 3 years of his life, into trying to achieve one last go. And to have it taken away from him at the final moment, not from the people he's fighting, but from some side force. It just feels like, it just feels like a letdown. So I dislike her from that aspect. She's a cool side character now, but I'm not rooting for her. Fro is right halfway through your. Well, you're still half crossed. You're also not for nothing. Not a great look, because you're getting yourself the multiple chin thing, because you're halfway into the crossing. You're up. You're back now. Feel like you're about to grant me a wish.
She is a good wild card. She has played that role very well. I think everybody here has played their role very well. I mean, this has been superbly written.
Could have done better. I feel like we should have gotten rid. I hate to say it. I feel like we should have gotten rid of the Kelly arc and developed her character a bit more. Like, given us the time where she's setting up a meeting with Wyatt and how she's actually doing shit on the side. Establish that for me more. The Kelly thing, I didn't need it. Wasn't really go at the end of the day.
Yeah, didn't matter.
Still,
yeah. So we're going.
Solar System's back, or I guess technically here for the very second time. Sorry, half a second. I thought it was deployed in Origin first. It wasn't. It's deployed in Mobile Suit Gundam first. So Solar System's back for the second time. No, it's back for the first time. Sorry, the definition of words escaped me. It's not back for the second time, because then it would have been back before. You can only be back for the first time once. It was deployed once, and then it came back for the first time. So I get thrown by that toonami ad for Origin. Because the Mobile Suit Gundam has its toonami ad where it's suit up.
Yeah.
Suit up for the first time. And then the Origin ad is suit up for the first time again.
Yeah. Which doesn't make any sense, but yeah, sure.
No, it does make sense. Because Origin takes place before Mobile Suit Gundam, so technically this will be the first time you suit up, but we've watched Mobile Suit Gundam, so that was the first time you suited up.
But you can't suit up for the first time twice.
It's
That's
a
the problem.
chronological argument in that I can't remember what it was. Some book I was reading was the argument for a new vocabulary for time travel to explain words happening in chronological order and the messiness that you can get from time travel. So technically, chronologically, origin takes place first, so it would be the first time you suit up, but you experience suiting up for the first time in the future, which would have actually be the past. So you suit up for the first time in most of Gundam, but then in Origin, you're suiting up for the actual first time. Again, because technically we did suit up for the first time already.
The thing is that once you do something first, you can't do something first.
It's not only chronological, it's experiential.
Yeah, but the problem is the word first just throws everything out of whack.
Well, again, though, you're suiting up for the first time in Origin, but you're doing Origin second. So you've experienced suiting up for the first time.
Once you suit up, that is your first time. Whether it happens in Origins or it happens in 79. Whatever time you suit up, that's your first time.
It's not, though, because chronologically...
You should say suit up again.
For the first time.
No, yeah, the first time is...
It is your first time, though, because the first time is in Origin, chronologically. It just happened to be that you watched Mobile Suit Gundam first, and we advertised this as suit up for the first time. So you're suiting up for the first time again.
It doesn't make sense.
It does make sense. You're just choosing to make it not make sense.
It doesn't make sense, but you're saying the same thing twice.
You're willing yourself to not make it make sense.
It doesn't. It's just
you're willing yourself to make it not make sense.
It does not.
It does. You know how I can tell? An advertising team went through this, sold it on a toonami at the time. Toonami watched this, decided it made sense. You are arguing against the crowd. Now, I'm not saying that the crowd is always right. Obviously, I've given you examples before about Southern United States proving that the crowd is not always right. But in this instance, where it's just advertising and semantics, I am saying the crowd is right. Also, not for the fact that I've also been arguing the same thing that the crowd has gone for.
Yeah.
Sure do love everyone who's hung out here for the after episode talk, who've been like, God, I can't wait to hear what they say about the solar system vis-a-vis the colony drop and the fleets and SEMA and Delaz, and then here we are about you can do things twice and for the first time.
So, yeah, I'm waiting for the 13 episodes. It makes sense that it was 13 episodes.
Again, it doesn't really, because again, I say you can get rid of the Kelly stuff.
Yeah, that would be one episode off, so it could have been 12.
Well, technically, Kelly stuff takes place across 2 episodes.
Yeah, but it's enough that you can, whatever's left after the Kelly stuff, you can compress it.
To be fair, I also said replace it with SEMA stuff, so I say I would care about her more if she was more developed, but she's not really developed. She's like I don't want to say talking head. She's a figurehead, maybe? She's a representation of a character archetype that they want us to believe she is, but she doesn't have enough. Like, we saw Delaz back at Abo Quo. We've seen Delaz talking to Gato about stuff that's happened in the past. We have seen the Delaz Gato almost parent-son relationship, it almost feels like. And then Delaz is like, oh, I will call back my ships if it seems like we're not going to be able to do this. You know, his trepidation about the possibility of failure after having tossed 3 years away into this sort of thing. Yeah. So much there with Delaz, with so little time put into it. Whereas SEMA, I don't know what she's invested in. Apparently herself is the end of end of all that, but that's not like enough there. Her dealing with Wyatt doesn't feel like it's... Wyatt just fucking dies, like 2 scenes to him. There's nothing. She needed more time to cook, as the kids say these days. Head half off screen.
So there you have it. That was this episode. I'm looking forward to how this is all resolved. Again, I still feel that the colony drop won't happen, but, you know.
Well, I've never seen Zeta, so I have no fucking idea.
Yeah.
I think the thing we're only basing that on is the element that the one thing that crosses multiple Gundam series is sometimes the allusion to a giant hole in Australia. And you'd figure if a second colony drop happened, there would be more allusions to giant holes in the earth somewhere.
Yeah. An unholy earth. Or a holy earth, actually.
No, you're right the first time. we were just talking, I was at least just talking about the element that there would be more holes in the Earth if another colony dropped. So despite the fact that we know there is one hole in the Earth, technically two. There's Australia, but there's also the crater that killed the dinosaurs. Can't forget the pre-existing conditions the Earth had before we fucked up. To the example, though, unholy Earth works towards what we're talking about because we're talking about not adding more holes.
Yeah. Please. Yeah, I think the real thing is I think the one or two of these guys they're gonna die, probably killing each other.
No, it's probably this is the this comes out before 8th MS Team, doesn't it?
No, after.
I think this comes out before. Doesn't this come out in 94 and 8th MS Team was like late 90s?
Yeah.
So I think this is the prelude to the storyline that became 8th MS Team, which is to say, probably Ko and Nina go off and Gato dies.
Maybe. I mean, there's a lot of similarities. It has a very same feel to it, but this one was better explored. They spend more time in it.
Well, I've said that before. 8th MS Team, I think, survives mostly on nostalgia. I imagine if you watch this in Japan, you don't have that toonami nostalgia that a bunch of us have. Especially doesn't like come off the end of Wing. You're not comparing it directly to Wing. So compared to Wing, this is like Shakespearean. To be fair, this is probably actually Shakespearean.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Well, with all of that said, then once again, I have been Theta, this has been Lessons, we've been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below, and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?